We all appreciate the convenience, right? Dinner in a box. But have you ever really thought about what goes into making that happen? The logistics, the strategy, even the psychology behind it.
It's quite something.
Yeah, so today we're not just, unpacking a meal kit. We're actually taking a deep dive into the whole industry, and we're doing it through the lens of MenuCraft, a really interesting player over in Ireland.
And we've got this fantastic business report, really detailed stuff. It gives us a proper look behind the scenes.
Exactly. It pulls back the curtain on their operations, the wider market. It's packed with data, operational details, strategic insights. So our mission today is basically to unpack all this information.
Turn dinner in a box into something more.
Right. Make it a fascinating exploration of business strategy, logistics, consumer behavior, all that good stuff. You might be surprised by some of the insights into how these services actually work.
Definitely.
So you know the basic concept, right? Pre-proportioned ingredients, recipe card delivered to your door. Simple enough on the surface.
But the real magic, and maybe the biggest headache for these companies, is managing all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the chilled meat, dairy, fish, needs ice packs, special boxes.
Right. Precise temperature control. Then you've got your tinned goods, pasta, spices, the long life stuff.
And the fresh fruit, veg, bread, short shelf life, plus the recipe card itself. It all has to arrive, perfect.
But it really is a logistical high-wire act,
Mm.
one most of us probably don't even think about when the box arrives.
Mm.
And it's an act playing out on a huge stage.
Yeah.
And it's getting bigger. Globally, this industry was worth, what, over $25 billion back in 20X4?
Wow.
And projections. They're saying it could hit over $75 billion in the next decade. So triple that.
Triple. Okay, so this isn't just some fad.
Not at all. It looks a pretty fundamental shift in how people are approaching cooking at home.
Right.
And the company that really kicked things off, the pioneer, was Freshii. They started up about 17 years ago in Gamma. They kind of spurred that global growth.
Fresh in. Okay.
And the appeal is, well, it's pretty clear. Convenience, obviously. But beyond that, they tend to be reasonably priced. And they massively cut down on food waste for the customer.
That's a big one.
Oh, yeah. You buy a whole bunch of parsley for one recipe, use a sprig, and the rest just wilts.
Guilty. Happens all the time.
Exactly. Meal kits solve that because you get just what you need. No leftover half onion judging you from the fridge.
Huh. Yeah, I know that look. Okay, so that's the global picture, but let's bring it back to Ayeland. That's MenuCraft's home turf.
Right, Ayeland. Population nearly 40 million, developed economy. And crucially, about 75% of people live in urban areas.
So lots of city dwellers.
Exactly. And that urban lifestyle, often with busy work and family lives, seems to be a key driver for meal kit popularity there.
Makes sense. People want quick, easy meals, but maybe healthier than takeaway all the time.
Precisely. Nutritious home cooking without the hassle. They seem especially popular with young professionals and families trying to simplify things.
And what's the competition like in Ireland? Is MenuCraft up against giants?
Well, it's pretty dynamic. You've got four main businesses duking it out. Freshii, the global brand we mentioned, they actually have the biggest slice, about 35% market share.
Okay.
Then comes MenuCraft, second largest, holding a solid 24%. After them, Food Dropper with 17% and iMeals with 13%.
So MC is holding its own against the global leader.
They really are. And then there's another 11% made up of smaller, maybe regional or niche players. Think like fully vegan options, that sort of thing.
Interesting.
What's really striking, though, is that Freshii entered Ireland just a year after MenuCraft started. But MC, the local player, has kept this strong position. They're well respected.
That says a lot about their strategy, doesn't it? Being the local favorite.
It absolutely does. And you can see the overall market growth in the data, too. There's a chart in the report, Meal Kit Customer Growth Ireland. It shows a pretty steady upward trend in customer numbers from 2000 WN right through to 20X4. The whole pie is getting bigger.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this growth then. What are the key factors really pushing this market forward? Convenience is obviously huge. Not having to plan meals or go grocery shopping saves so much time, especially if you're juggling work and family.
Convenience is definitely the hook, yeah. But for companies to really succeed and keep customers, it goes deeper. Quality is massive.
Right, you expect fresh stuff.
Exactly. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. Many companies, like MenuCraft, make a point of partnering with local farmers. That builds trust and ensures freshness.
Okay, quality. What else?
Menu variety and customization. That's huge, too. People want choice. different cuisines from around the world, options for dietary needs, vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, low-carb, you name it.
So you're not just stuck with the same 5 meals.
Right. And finally, cost effectiveness. It's got to feel like good value for money. Balancing that quality and convenience with a price that doesn't make people balk. That's key for keeping customers loyal.
It's that sweet spot. Makes sense.
It's about making dinner smart, affordable, and, well, enjoyable.
Okay, but here's something fascinating from the report. Despite all this growth, all this appeal, the entire meal kit industry, globally, still makes up less than 1.5% of total food sales.
Isn't that striking?
It really is. How do you explain that? Does it mean it's actually not that popular overall?
Well, it shows the market is nowhere near saturated, right? Despite the buzz, it's still fundamentally niche.
So a massive opportunity then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It raises big questions, though. Why is it still so small? Is it price? Is it that people fundamentally still prefer shopping themselves, or maybe just don't like cooking even with a kit?
Good questions.
But yeah, that tiny market share points to huge potential for growth. And companies like MenuCraft, with their specific approach, might be well placed to chip away at those barriers.
Okay, let's zoom in on MenuCraft then. Founded 15 years ago, Ayeland's capital city, by two local chefs with experience. They weren't just copying the global model, were they?
No, not at all. They deliberately carved out a niche. High quality, but deeply rooted in Ayeland. Their focus was, and is, on island-based recipes, using local ingredients wherever they can. That really clicks with people there who are proud of their local food traditions. It's a core part of their identity.
A local flavor, literally.
Pretty much. And they back it up. They employ qualified chefs who develop up to 30 new recipes every week. And they use data ingredient availability, what's seasonal, what customers are actually rating highly.
30 recipes a week. Wow.
It's a lot. Keeps things fresh.
And this local approach, it seems to be working wonders for keeping customers. The report says MC has one of the highest customer retention rates in the whole industry.
That feels significant.
Oh, it's hugely significant, especially when you hear that industry-wide, something like 75% of subscriptions fizzle out within 6 months.
Right. People jump around for discounts or just get bored.
Exactly. So MC's high retention, that's not just luck. It suggests real loyalty, probably tied to that local sourcing, the authentic recipes. It builds connection that maybe the big global players find harder to achieve.
A sense of trust, maybe? Identity? I think so. And their growth story supports this. Started with local venture capital, then saw steady customer growth, especially as island cities grew and more people got online. They weren't just selling meals. They were selling kind of a local food experience.
And who owns them now? They went public, right?
Yeah, listed on the Ayeland stock market 3 years ago. The two founders are still very involved. One's CEO, the other's chief commercial and marketing officer. They each hold 10% of the shares.
And a rest.
The other 80% is held by other investors.
Okay. And this background, this local focus, how does it connect to their, official mission statement?
It ties in directly. Their stated mission is pretty clear. Make healthy home cooking simple, affordable, and accessible to everyone.
Simple enough.
And their vision broadens that out. Promote healthy and sustainable food choices for healthier lives in a healthier world.
Ambition.
Yeah, but it seems genuine. Their values really emphasize supporting Ayeland food producers, making positive environmental choices, focusing on sustainability, ESG, planet, people governance, responsible leadership, ethical standards. It all lines up with that local, high-quality approach. It's their recipe for success, really.
Okay, but delivering on that promise, local quality, sustainability, that's the hard part, right? Let's get into the nuts and bolts. Their operations, how do they actually do it? They work with over 600 suppliers, mostly in Ayeland, you said.
Correct. Staying true to that local focus.
But the bit that really jumped out at me was the waste minimization. Less than 1% of purchased ingredients by weight not making it to customers. How on earth do they manage that, especially with fresh food? That sounds like sorcery.
It's genuinely impressive, isn't it? Not sorcery, but definitely sophisticated. They lean heavily on algorithms.
Data, again.
Predicting demand very precisely.
Yeah.
So they order almost exactly what they need, minimal surplus.
And what happens to the tiny bit that is left over?
Well, if it's edible, it gets donated to local charities. If not, it might go to animal feed. Only the truly inedible stuff ends up as waste, like landfill or incineration. So it's efficiency, but it's also deeply tied into their sustainability values.
Right, and they're tough on suppliers, too.
They have strict criteria, yeah. Detailed assessments, they prefer certified suppliers, ones who support biodiversity, organic methods. It's all part of that quality promise.
So a very tight, responsible supply chain. What happens when the ingredients arrive at their factory?
Okay, so the long life stuff, they buy in bulk and store it.
Mm.
But the fresh and chilled ingredients, they're delivered really quickly, within 24 to 48 hours of when they're needed, straight into a temperature-controlled area at their main factory in Central Ireland.
Just in time, basically, for freshness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Critical for quality. And they work with suppliers on packaging, too, trying to minimize it right from the start, pushing for recyclable or biodegradable materials. That's smart.
And that focus on packaging must carry through to the final box that lands on my doorstep, right? Getting those ingredients there safely and still fresh is crucial.
Oh, absolutely critical. Packaging is maybe the key operational piece for meal kits. It's got to protect, insulate, and ideally be sustainable.
So how does MC handle that?
They partner with just one supplier, an Ayeland company conveniently located only 20 kilometers away.
Keeping it local again?
Yep. This supplier provides 100% recyclable cardboard. That includes the inner chill box, the one with the reusable ice pack, and the sturdy outer box. They get the outer boxes flat packed, which is efficient for storage and transport.
And they work together on improving it.
Yeah, the report mentions they collaborate on finding new, even more environmentally friendly packaging solutions. It's an ongoing partnership.
Okay, inside the factory then, what's the production line like?
It's pretty slick. One large factory, Central Ireland. They run 4 production lines, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So high volume.
16 hours a day. Wow.
And it's a mix of tech and people. Robots do some of the heavy lifting, producing labels, reading barcodes, even picking the right size box and forming it.
Okay, automation.
But then human workers step in. They scan the barcodes, add the actual ingredients to the box, the crucial bit, and do a final quality check before it's sealed up.
So a human touch for the important parts.
Exactly. And it's fast. From the moment production starts on a box to when it's ready for dispatch, it's typically no more than 3 hours.
3 hours, that's quick.
Keeps everything super fresh.
Then it's handed over to their logistics partner, GoFlow, another island company.
Makes sense.
GoFlow's vehicles are all refrigerated, naturally. And MC works closely with them too, planning routes to minimize CO2 emissions and ensure deliveries are on time. It's designed to be this seamless flow, farm to factory to fork, keeping quality and sustainability front and center.
It sounds incredibly efficient, but surely it's not all smooth sailing. No business operates in a vacuum. What are the headwinds? The report must mention challenges. Oh, definitely. The meal kit industry faces some major hurdles. Competition, for one, is intense.
Right, you mentioned Freshie and the others.
Exactly, direct rivals. But there's also indirect competition. Think about the heat and eat market, fully prepared meals you just microwave. That's popular.
Ah, even less effort than a meal kit.
Right. And then you've got supermarkets getting in on the act, offering their own meal kit lines, both in-store and online. So MC is fighting on multiple fronts.
Crowded market.
Very. And then there's the perennial problem. Customer retention. We touched on this. It's an industry-wide headache.
Getting customers is one thing, keeping them is another.
Precisely. Attracting them with discounts is relatively easy, but keeping them subscribed long-term, much harder. Over 75% of subscriptions across the industry don't last more than 6 months.
Why do they leave? Price? Restrictions?
Often, yeah. People hop between services chasing introductory offers, or they find the subscription model too expensive over time, or maybe too restrictive, like they don't want to commit every week.
So MC's high retention rate is a really big competitive advantage.
A massive one. But it's still something they have to constantly work at, fighting that churn.
And what about the sheer complexity of it all? Managing hundreds of suppliers, all those different ingredients, delivery options.
Huge logistical challenge, absolutely.
Right.
The sheer variety, different kits, different dietary needs, getting fresh stuff from hundreds of places on time.
Yeah.
It requires serious investment.
In what, software?
Yeah, sophisticated supplier management systems, complex logistics software, and really strong relationships with those third-party providers, like their delivery partner GoFlow. It's intricate.
Okay, complex logistics. What else keeps them up at night?
Well, maybe the most critical risk, the one that carries the biggest potential danger, is food safety and the increasing regulation around it.
Ah, right, because you're dealing with fresh meat, fish, dairy.
Exactly. Perishable foods, they're vulnerable to cross-contamination,
Yeah.
bacterial growth if packaging, storage, refrigeration isn't absolutely perfect.
And have there been problems elsewhere?
Sadly, yes. Meal kits in other countries have been linked to outbreaks of foodborne illnesses, food poisoning. It's a real risk if standards slip.
So regulators must be watching closely.
Increasingly so. The Ayeland Food Standards Agency, the AFSA, is really focusing on meal kit providers now, setting best practices, tightening
How
standards.
does that affect MC directly?
They face rigorous external checks, audits every 6 months. Their actual operating license depends on passing these certifications, so the stakes are incredibly high.
Wow, okay. And one more risk mentioned, data.
Yeah, data and information security.
Yeah.
Think about it. MC holds personal data for all its customers, all its suppliers. Names, addresses, payment info, probably.
Right, sensitive stuff.
Exactly. And that data is a target for security incidents, breaches, cyber attacks. Staying ahead of those threats, protecting that information, it's a constant ongoing battle.
Lots to manage. But despite all these challenges, the industry keeps moving forward, innovating. You mentioned robotics earlier.
Right. We're seeing more automation in food processing, manufacturing, packaging. It helps with consistency, efficiency, scaling up.
So for MC, robots help manage that volume while humans do the quality checks.
Pretty much. And data analytics isn't just for ordering anymore. It's getting much smarter.
How so?
Predicting recipe demand more accurately, forecasting supply availability, but also really digging into customer feedback comment ratings to see which recipes are hits and which are misses.
Ah, so they can tweak the menu based on real data, keep those island-specific recipes popular.
Exactly, fine-tuning constantly. And then there are new partnership models emerging elsewhere.
Like what?
Some companies are teaming up with big retailers, selling kits directly in supermarkets. Others are collaborating with celebrity chefs or influencers for special recipe lines.
Interesting. Could an MC do that without losing its local focus?
That's the strategic question for them, isn't it? How to potentially leverage those kinds of partnerships without diluting what makes them unique in Ayeland.
Okay, and finally, how do they track their own success? What are the key numbers they watch? The KPIs.
The report lists several key performance indicators. Things like total revenue, number of active customers, total meals delivered.
The basics.
Right. But also metrics like orders per customer, average order value, how much people are spending each time, and importantly, food waste, defined specifically to exclude those charity donations, and carbon emissions.
So financial, customer, operational, and sustainability metrics.
A good mix.
Okay.
And the trends in the charts tell a story: total meals delivered and revenue. Significant growth over the years, which is good. But the rate of that growth has slowed down a bit in recent years. That could suggest the market is maturing, or maybe just that competition is getting tougher.
Okay. What about customer numbers?
Active customers have also grown consistently, which is positive. However, the percentage growth year on year has dropped quite a bit. It was up at 37% growth back in 20X, but down to 13% growth in 20X4.
So still growing, but harder to find new customers at the same pace.
That seems to be the takeaway. It reinforces that industry-wide challenge of retention and maybe higher acquisition costs now, even for a company like MC with its strong retention.
And the value metrics. Revenue per meal.
Those show steady, consistent growth, but it's slower growth, which suggests they're managing to maintain their price point and value proposition without huge hikes. They're holding the line on value.
Right. So putting it all together, what does this journey through MenuCraft tell us, our listener? We started with just a box of food.
Yeah, and we've ended up in this complex world of global supply chains, local sourcing, high-tech factories, intense competition, consumer psychology.
It's a brilliant example, I think, of how even things we see as everyday conveniences are built on these incredible layers of strategy and operational wizardry, really.
Absolutely. And MenuCraft itself really demonstrates something important. It shows that having a strong local focus, really committing to quality and embedding sustainable practices, it can let a company genuinely thrive.
Even against the global giants.
Especially against the global giants. If you couple it with great customer retention, smart use of tech, they've found their niche. They carved out this unique space by being authentically Ayeland, true to their roots and their values.
Okay, so that leads us to a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe chew on a bit.
Go on.
We've seen the meal kit industry is projected to grow massively worldwide, yet it's still just a tiny fraction of overall food sales. And we've seen how MenuCraft has built success on its local identity and high customer loyalty. So the question is, How could a company like MenuCraft strategically adapt? Maybe change its core offering, maybe expand its reach somehow, but do it while protecting that unique local identity, that deep commitment to Ayeland sourcing and sustainability.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. It's a huge strategic balancing act. How do you grow without losing what makes you special? It's a question that could really shape the future of how we eat.